for Meaning and Growth. They're at the heart of this Inspire Ed thing. 3 years he's been doing this, so we should say thanks to him. We should also say thanks to Rob McKay, who's not here, who set up the sound equipment, and I really like this. Is this mic you, Dawn Diamond?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it's a little Madonna action over here. It's really nice, thank you. And bartenders, tip your bartenders. Hey, thanks for serving us. And don't worry, just because Murray's going, it's not all over. There's some musical entertainment to follow. But Murray, not only do I want to say thanks, but I want to think about the next 10 years and the next 20 years. And think about what's going to inspire us and what's going to be, the conversations that are going to be going on in this room or another cubic space. I love that it's called the public house because I get to make that joke. I know though that together we're going to be searching and discovering and continuing to be inspired by each other and inspiring each other. So, without further ado, Murray D's coming up here to let you know it's
Does Melissa still have the clicker?
No.
Oh, I see it. Okay. I'm trying to do two things at once here. One of the things, like when we put together Inspire Ed, the thing that I love the most is getting together. We've been getting together, I think, monthly since September. And I love when we bash ideas back and forth. And at the beginning, we had no idea. But the more we talked, this theme of story came up. I think that sort of rang true all night. And it just made me think, and this is my take on the idea of story. This has been a big change for me. I've left the classroom for the first time in many years. I'm working with some amazing colleagues. I love what I do. I think change is important, but it's not easy, especially when you're leaving a place that holds a special spot in your heart. I've been reflecting a lot, thinking a lot, and over the holidays, I was up in my daughter's room, and I came across this picture, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot. My teaching career and when I became a parent almost happened on the same day. This is my daughter Lily. She was born on a Saturday of the long weekend, and I began teaching on the Tuesday. And that was 20 years ago. There's the theme of 20 coming up. And I thought, oh my God, it's true. All those cliches you hear about time flying by, like they're true. Like the days are very long, but the years are fast. I had a lot of questions back then. Like, would I be a good parent? Would I be a good teacher? Will I be happy? And I thought, if I could go back and talk to my younger self, what would I say? What advice would I give? I think the first thing I would say would be there's definitely going to be some frustrations. But don't let those frustrations deter you, because as a parent or as a teacher, what you do is important and it's noble. Don't give up. You have to persist. But keep in mind, there's going to be way more successes, and you have to pay attention, even if they're small. This is a note I got from a student back in December in a class that I was helping out in, and she thought I really did a good job and I should consider becoming a permanent teacher. So those things are important, but unfortunately, and I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes those frustrations overshadow the success and you start perseverating on them. And I don't know why, and I've been thinking about why. And I think the reason, after talking about stories, when your story does not match your reality. So by story, I mean, I think we all love a good story, and when we find a good story, we tend to insert ourselves into that story because it helps us find our place in the world. And And when that story doesn't match what's actually happening in front of you, I think that's what's frustrating. So my story happened when I was very young, I believe watching Sunday night movies. And it was always the story of the underdog. Like a person or a group of people beating the odds or overcoming an obstacle. I really attached myself to that. But I would tell my younger self, that's not reality. Things don't always go the way you plan. Like a lesson might tank. Your child might make a really poor decision that you're kind of embarrassed about. Or that student that you were rooting for didn't quite make it into the world that put them at risk in the first place. But don't be too hard on yourself. Okay, it's not fair because those stories belong to someone else. They're fictitious. There's no such thing as a perfect teacher, perfect parent. Those things are a myth. Okay? So what do? Well, after thinking, I'm like, you know what? I think it's important. You need to write your own story. Because being a part of someone else's story it's just too passive. It's not easy. I don't really have I don't have a lot of regrets, but I wish I'd learned this earlier on in my career. So how do you do it? One suggestion would be, I would tell my younger self, say yes more than no. If you say no, you're sort of left with a seed of doubt and you're wondering. I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to try to be funny, but I decided not to. If you're wondering what if, it's no fun. This is really important. Is this mic on? Shut it off. I'll hold it. Is that better?
No.
We can still hear you.
Yeah, you can just talk loud.
This part's really important. I'm going to start talking into my clicker. This part is important because if you're going to write your own story, I think you have to commit yourself fully and completely. By being real and being you. By being real, I mean you need to be authentic. You need to be vulnerable. Because if you try to fake it, it's going to be exhausting. And if you try to fake it, people are going to notice. By being you, you have to realize you're the most important thing. You're more important than a well-planned lesson. You're more important than the type of car you drive or the house you live in. You're more important than a number talk. You're more important than a well-written report card comment. Because none of those things meet our children, our students in the hallway or at the door to let them know that they count and that you care. So you have to be you because you're the one that's going to make the difference. So that was the long version. From my top, the short version is relax, keep in mind what's important, and it will all work out. Thanks.